house on
You did?
Saturday. Just a quick trip. Got to work out in his basement.
Did you bump
Um,
your head?
no, he's got plenty of space. Not
Yeah,
plenty of
he's
space, but it's. I think it's still like 7 feet high, like the ceilings.
is Adam taller than you are?
Yeah,
By
maybe
a
by like
little.
an inch or
Okay.
two.
Okay. Yeah.
He's.
Does he's probably made some changes since you were last in his basement, right?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
No, he's got a rep rack.
Yeah.
He has a marketplace fine lat pull down. He
Right.
has an old rep functional trainer. He has those Intech dumbbells. He
Yeah, that
has
that he won from Garage Gym Lab.
right.
Yeah.
Right. He's got a nice little setup. A lot of it is hand me downs
Yeah, but the
from
rep
me.
rack is like fairly new for him, right? Like in the last year.
Yeah. He had a oh shoot.
He had the 1100 or whatever
He had
PR.
either the 1100. I know he used to have the T2. So he's had both. He's had the 1100 and the T2.
He was living in that 2x3 ecosystem, right?
Right.
Is that what those
For a
are?
long time, yeah.
With like not even 1 inch holes. They're like, are they 1 inch holes or 5/8 inch holes? What are they on the?
I think they're 1 inch,
I don't know. I have to
but the
take a
post
look.
size throws everything off.
Right. Yeah,
You never had a budget rack like that, did you?
I mean, I had one made out of lumber.
Oh,
That's
that's
about as
right.
budget
That's
as
what
about
got
as
you into this
budget
thing.
as this thing gets. Um, yeah, but no, I had the one made out of lumber, like just like the two post, the Strength Co. Inspired one. And no, I flipped gym equipment until I could afford my RM3 from Rogue. Um, what's crazy to me is to think that uh, those were like the early days of the Strength Co. That's how I found them. Is they were posting like DIY builds, like how to build a bench out of lumber, how to build a squat rack out of 2x4s and
Yeah.
cement them into 5 gallon buckets. Like I was like all about that.
Let me ask you this. So you've had an RML.
No,
Which
hey,
one?
don't what do you RML? No, just RM.
Oh, you
RML
have
is
a Rogue M.
Monster
Okay.
Light. Man, don't make me one of
Okay. For
those
whatever reason, I thought you said
basic
RML.
people.
Sorry.
Just kidding.
Um, it is interesting how, we have like shiny new objects coming out all the time.
Yeah.
But if you do have that like a monster rack or a 1 inch rack, you're pretty much set in stone with a 1 inch rack. You're never probably going to move on from it unless something, yeah, something crazy happens. That's what I wonder about a lot of people with like a monster light rack, or if they do have the budget rack, like what does it take for you to finally upgrade? Are you waiting for certain things? Is it just budget? Um,
I I mean, I think that well, there's obviously just levels to this whole thing, and you can get by with the most basic of racks. You could buy one of those that whatever that super popular one is on Amazon. With weird holes, sizing, and all of their attachments are kind of baked into that ecosystem. I mean, you can get by without even getting attachments and just something that's holding your barbell up for you. So like what is it? I mean, I was just already so far into this, right? Like I was like, nah, yeah. Is it well Rogue has the what's that like collegiate level one they have, the 4x3. Um you know what I'm talking about? I don't know
yeah, I
what they
don't know what it's
call it. I
called.
don't know what they call it. Uh but yeah, I was just already so far into this and because I was patient
Mm.
and waiting till I had flipped enough equipment to afford a rack, it gave me the time to like really um, know what I needed or wanted, right? I was, highly influenced by the early influencers, Brandon, Campbell Diamond and whatnot. And I knew like, no, if I'm going to do it, it's like the one rack to rule them all. I've got to just go for it and get the monster rack.
Do you remember how you stumbled across them first?
Well, yeah, Brandon, um, Brandon's been around for a long time. So even when I was just like in my early days of like losing weight and doing P90X and things like that, um, I had found Brandon from like supplement reviews, and he was doing meal planning stuff, content that he doesn't do anymore. But so he was one of the first people that I had followed around just like health and fitness. Um, and That's right, Mr. Watson. White does look good. I don't like all the marring and everything, but yeah. So that was how. So he was just one of those early guys, and then whoever else came along after that, obviously Coop, but I couldn't even tell you. Brandon is really like for me the OG of OGs in terms of like content creator slash influencer, if you want to call him that. So yeah, that's how I found them. And then you know about how it went in 2020. It was just like an influx of people sharing, and then the Discord too, and the our home gym on subreddit. All huge influences as I like gathered information and learned like, okay, yeah, 1 inch. I want Rogue. I will say though, and we don't have to get into this, but for the first time ever recently was I like, I'm gonna sell this whole rack. I'm going to rep. And that was because of the whole Cleva situation. And that's not because I'm like picking sides, but that's just because I got so much love for Steve and Sierra Cleva. And when I heard about that, I was initially so pissed off. I was like, the Rogue Rack is going. I'm getting out. I'm going into the rep ecosystem. I'm gonna hit the boys up at HomeGymCon this year and be like, "What can you do for me? I'm going all rep. Screw this." But
Yeah,
I've
I
settled
I
down. I've settled down
I
a little.
I'm trying to figure out. So yes, I'm with you. I'm like, oh, don't really want that anymore. But I'm trying to figure out if this whole rep cleva thing, what are the end results? Like, does it help cleva? Does it hurt rogue? Does it benefit all? So I'd be curious to hear what people think about that. Not that we want to get too deep into it, but I see way more chatter about the product in general because of all of this. Um,
What
so
is the
yeah, I
end
mean,
result?
I don't know. I mean, first of all, I'm glad like Steve came out and said all that. Like, I think
Hmm.
that was necessary to be said. I'd love Rogue to respond,
They won't.
but I also just since I do think about this industry and I'm just curious, I wonder what the end result is.
I wonder. I mean, like if you think about mutant metals as like the I don't know, like the next best example of something like this happening, and it specifically involved Rogue. Um, I think the only reason that we had any insight into like what happened was just because Chris at Mutant Metals shared that Rogue had reached out, and you interviewed him, I think, pretty shortly after, and he was willing to kind of give insights into what had gone on, conversations he was having with Bill Henniger and the team at Rogue. And Chris, even though Chris at Mutant Metals isn't like the most social media forward personality, he is more so than Cleva built. So if there's a conversation that happens with Rogue and Cleva, or an apology, or a further explanation of what their thought process was, I don't know if we'll ever hear about it, because that's just not Cleva's style, I don't think. I think maybe you and I might hear about it because we'll have a one-on-one conversation with him at HomeGymCon. I'll also say this. I do think, based off of some behind the scenes rumblings that I am not at liberty to share, I think Rogue is aware and of the negative sentiment that is transpiring right now within the community, and I think that they're making some moves. So
Oh,
we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
well, that could be a number of moves. That I
I
haven't
know.
heard that.
Okay.
Good
Well,
for you.
I've got friends in all of the right places.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say I was a little you got to do the right thing, but I was a little worried Rogue might drop out of Home Gym Con just because they didn't want to
Really?
deal with it. And I don't know. It might have been kind of a that wouldn't have shown their strength type move. But
No.
they did reach out yesterday and just ask some questions. So like they're ready, or they're gearing up for it. So
Good. I want to know, like, I want to address some of these comments. So, guys, we see them. I want to make sure we'll talk about them. But how does this? You were talking about like you don't know what you're going to do. Are you considering adding to your gym another rack, or maybe moving on from the surplus strength rack, or what were
no, I
you
was
thinking there?
thinking like my Rogue rower right here, like
Okay, you're like, I'm gonna go with C2.
but I don't know. I I'm not trying to make a big deal out of that. But yeah, I will say it makes me not want to buy from Rogue.
Yeah, it's made me think twice.
Yeah. I mean, but
Definitely.
where this came was, you do see the comments and so if you scan the Garage Gym Reviews Facebook group, you scan Gluck's recent review of Rogue Rhino Belt Squat.
Like the comment.
There's not much negative sentiment
Okay.
as far as like other products. If you've noticed that, I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, glad Steve came out and said that. We're gonna buy the Rep Cleva ones." And maybe there's some negative thoughts, but I don't know. I think what Joey said here is basically what I was thinking. It was
Which one?
this one. So I do think it will help Rep Cleva sell more attachments in the short term, also probably long term. And then I just think from a grander scale, Rogue won't notice.
Yeah, I don't think it. I mean, it definitely impacts them, but I just don't think it does significantly enough for them to do anything drastic. Yeah, I mean, it's Rogue. Now this one, I don't think that'll ever happen. Rogue buys Rep and takes over all of the collabs. I don't think so. I think Rep is already way too successful, and I think it'd have to be a big
I think
number. It'd have to
Rep
be a
wants to
big,
take
big
their
number.
own route. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And another comment from Joey. What do we think about Stray Dog also having similar attachments that never drew attention? I don't.
I think
I don't
I'll
like.
cut you off.
Go ahead.
I think there's a lot of Cleva products that have been duplicated, whether it's the Jack, whether it's Stray Dog doing it. I just think there's a lot of it was out there. I think the only big, and I don't think there was going to be a ton of issues with Rogue doing this until Steve said what happened. Like I do think it was more of a Rep versus Rogue thing before all of that. It's like Rogue was just responding to a new product, and maybe not the most innovative way, but they were just responding in a business manner, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and I talked about this maybe even on last week's episode. I mean, Rogue was long overdue for updating their cable attachment line, or adding to it. And, they did it in a way that kind of took heavy inspiration and or copied from Cleva. But the stray dog thing, I I just don't think they're super relevant in the home gym space. I think they have a couple of pieces that people like the goat attachment. I have their leg rollers. Um, but I don't see them in consideration. Like when if somebody going back to the rack example, like when somebody's considering buying their first rack, I just don't even think stray dogs in the conversation. For one, they're really overpriced, and they just focus more on high schools and collegiate level gyms. It's just not their thing. Um, yeah, and I don't even for me, I don't even like to give them airtime. I'm not a big fan of Stray Dog, we, personally. I think that their public representation persona is just not my taste. Um, and so like I've made a conscious decision not even to share the rollers that I own from them because I don't want to give them any any space. Um, and that's just me having the relationships that I do. And I'm like, nah, screw these guys.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go into that.
I don't care. I mean, like I do. I try to be as diplomatic as I can, but those are my personal feelings on the whole thing. You don't even want to say a thing. You're like, man,
I'm just
next
gonna.
subject.
There was
Next.
also, yeah, Donnie Thompson was throwing some shade at Rep over the fat pad. He said
Donnie Thompson's
balls,
thrown a lot
balls
of
of
shade.
steel is next.
Wait, what? What did I miss?
There's just an Instagram post he did.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't see it. Yeah, Joey, you put it exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth that I couldn't find, really. Yeah, they have an air of arrogance that I don't receive very well personally. But I think it's gonna all be fine. It'll all blow over. And yeah, I don't know. It's weird. You know, I've heard that a lot too. Like, well, why didn't this product being stolen blow up like this? Like, who knows? You know, like, why does anything hit the news that and other things don't? It's just what happens, and then people want to talk about it. Some things get a lot of publicity, and others don't.
Well, I do think like the the Darko anchor that did hit the news for a long time.
Yeah,
You know, it was an issue that a lot of people gravitated towards. I think that's a smaller made in America manufacturer, so a lot of people are passionate about this. This had behind the scenes things going on. So I just think it if it's going to get a lot of attention, it has to have some sort of special like standout aspect of it.
yeah, and I think it just depends on the personalities involved, right? Like, there people really like Darko. Darko has worked really hard to um, build a brand, build a name and a reputation for himself within the home gym community. I honestly don't know how Darko stays as active as he does in the Discord, in the subreddit, and in the Facebook group, and is still cranking out hundreds of products a month by himself in his gym. Like he works really hard for that reputation and for that community support. And that's why Steve and Sierra maybe not as much, but they've been doing this for a while and people are passionate about their products. And at least speaking for myself, I like them as human beings. Like I spent a lot of time with them at HomeGymCon both years, and that's why I have an opinion personally about it. So
Right, they've been in the space. It was interesting. I was listening to so one of my favorite podcasts is basically a banter of like business ideas and what's going on in the business world. It's called My First Million. Um, one of the topics, I think it was even released last week. It was like, here are some business trends to keep an eye on. And they usually don't bring up anything fitness related, but they brought
mhm.
up one area of opportunity that they see blowing up just because of its simplicity is rucking. Like basically everybody can get a ruck, and you can, I mean, you can argue yes or no, but
Yeah, let's go.
this was their example, and they were saying how Go Ruck is, you know, a really big company, and they were saying how, you know, they make their products in America and they're really high quality, and there's always a place for that. But what they were saying, and again, agree or disagree, they were saying there's a big opportunity in basically taking their model and undercutting the price and making it cheaper, maybe not making it quite as big of quite as high quality. And they were like, that is where you make even more money. Like there's always a place for made in America, high quality, like a certain audience will buy that. But the most, if you want to like grow the audience, like not everyone's going to buy a $400 ruck bag. You have to, someone else has to make a lower quality product at a lower price. And they were just saying that's a great opportunity right now. So again, that is like the mindset of somebody who's not necessarily in this community, or like, I'm just random. I thought that was
no, I think it's
example.
Interesting. I mean, I have some thoughts. I recently, like in the last 6 months, did a ton of research on rucking bags, and I think there is a huge opportunity because Go Ruck bags are expensive, like crazy expensive. You're buying some fabric. I know, yeah, made in America, all that stuff. But if another company came out and imported bags and approached it in the similar fashion where they were offering, I mean, dozens of different models, capacities, there might be an opportunity there. I don't completely know how big the rucking scene is, but I'm assuming it's fairly big for Go Ruck to be as successful as they are. And yeah, if somebody came in and undercut their price and offered a similar quality, it would probably be just as good of quality, if I'm being honest, if they wanted it to be, and sold them a lot cheaper and had the kind of like marketing budget or similar to Go Ruck. They could be really successful. And the thing is too, you don't have to steal all of their customers. You can just steal a fraction of them and still be wildly successful. I mean, there's obviously a ton of different rucking bags out there and companies that offer rucking bags, but I don't know if there's another company like Go Ruck in that it's like the one thing that they
Not
do.
that I've heard of.
Yeah.
No.
No,
I mean, Go Ruck bags can go for like $400 backpack.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, most of them are up towards the $400 mark.
Okay, yeah, they are.
Yeah, for like the decent ones. Otherwise, you're just basically getting like a basic laptop backpack from them, which they have too. Like they have just a whole suite of backpacks. There's a lot out there. If you've never looked at the Go Rucking website, it's honestly overwhelming because like, wait, I just wanted a Go Ruck bag. Now I'm considering 20 different models. Which one is right for me? And you go down a big rabbit hole. There's a lot of guys. You're really active in the comments. Thank you. I'm trying to see what else is willing to share. Rogue needs to.
So there's questions about, was the Mutant Metals deal even good for Mutant Metals in the first place?
According to Chris, it is.
Let's see. Someone responded and they said, from what I can tell, yes. Where did that go? Oh, so here's the question. Is Rogue Collab even beneficial to smaller manufacturers? Joey has the insight from what he's heard. It's good. I didn't see that Rogue got a lot of heat on Reddit as well. Did you see that?
No, I don't.
What about Discord? Did they get a lot of heat in Discord?
It's mixed. You still get those like those folks who will, play they should have had a patent, not that type of thing. Like there is a large truck going by outside. I think Cleva has an interesting relationship or history with the Discord over some things that we don't need to bring up. But there are folks within the Discord that are not clever fans and maybe almost celebrated and or
Ooh.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah. So it just mixed. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. You see all of these different opinions coming out. Some people don't care. Some have heavy opinions one way or the other. Um, yeah, it's divisive for sure.
Gotcha. Well, do we have anything? Any other questions before we move on to some stuff? I might just dive right into this dialed motion.
We got to talk about HomeGymCon.
Oh, do you want to talk about HomeGymCon?
I mean, we got to mention it. It's 90 something ish days away.
Yeah,
This is like-
HomeGymCon. Here, let me share my screen. So yeah, we'll
Oh, what was that?
I'm not real sure what's going on
What
there.
that is.
But yeah, HomeGymCon is, what did I say earlier? 94 days out.
Yeah.
So
Holy cow.
yeah, I guess plan your trip if you haven't. I think as somebody who's gone to some recent conventions, I have done all of my planning at the very last week or two. So I understand most people still like, oh, 94 days. I got a lot of time. Just wanted to mention like the room block will expire. I believe it's 30 to 45 days out. I think it's 30, but let's just say 45 to be safe. And honestly, there's more traction this year than that was expected going into year one. So I would book your room. There's no upfront costs. You can find that on homegymcon.com. And yeah, I should be hearing within the next few days about a few more like really cool vendors, which would be great. I do think we got our first flywheel company. They said
nice.
they'll be here. Just waiting for the follow-up confirmation. There's a few other big name brands that have actually changed their mind about going, or they
Like
reached
themselves?
out.
Or that maybe said no at first and are
That
now
said no at
reconsidering?
first, and I
Okay.
think they saw the traction and like, ooh, we might not want to miss this year. So that's promising.
Yeah.
But anyways, plan your trips. Let's talk about this dialed motion. I think whoops.
What's up, guys?
Here we
Leland here with our first real world
So this is
developer prototype. Super
dialed
excited.
motion
Was
teaser.
literally up till 1 in the morning.
Hopefully you guys saw
welding
this.
thing and
Yeah,
assembling
hopefully.
it.
Should we watch it through, or are we
Yeah.
just gonna?
Let's
Yeah,
get
let's
straight
watch
into
it
the
through.
details. A few months back, we posted a little animation of this whole kind of bench integrated thing.
But while he's doing that,
And
type in your
yeah,
thoughts
we got a
in the
lot of
comments.
feedback.
Yeah.
Some of the feedback that we liked and took to heart was we wanted to integrate a cam. So we have that here. And a lot of people wanted a seated leg curl. So we have kind of gone all the way back to the drawing board, and we have seated leg curl and a leg extension. So let's just get into demoing it. Like our last one that you saw the animation of, maybe, we have a cable retractor integrated to deal with cables, so you don't have to have loose cable and all that. So it's unlocked now. I'll just hook it on to, works with any cable system. Lock the cable retractor. It's ready to use. So for the leg curl, the seated leg curl, it's important to have a leg hold down. So we have this attachment that just drops in and pivots, sits there. Then it has this lever ratchet to tighten down on your thighs. So to adjust for different heights and leg length, etc., you can adjust where that hits you. So I'll just hop on. And so it's already set for a pretty good stretch right now.
That's probably good.
Longer than you remember. That's why I asked. I'm like,
Yes.
it's like a 4-minute video, I think.
That was a little bit slower moving than I remember.
Yeah.
But regardless, very cool add-on that you can add to your bench. Hopefully, if this makes it to market from Dialed Motion, it uses their kind of well-known cable retractor. And combines it with a bench add-on so that you can basically do leg curls, leg extensions with any sort of pulley system. And then at the end of the video, he shows that you're able to store it away. So you take it off and it takes a very minimal footprint. But I do think this is something that a lot of people want, most specifically those working in like a couple hundred square feet or less.
Yep.
I think you've discussed wanting something like this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this is revolutionary. Like this is a potential game changer. And I am very interested. And I think, and I've mentioned this before, but if this was any other company, not any other, but most other companies, or maybe like some kind of import company that was releasing something like this, I wouldn't be as excited. And I say that because I've seen their products and they are premium. They're really, really nice and the guys there have such a high level of attention to detail, especially with the way that they are even right now. And Joey says that they're incorporating feedback from the community. They really want to nail this. And they also have listened to this show. I was talking to them in the DMs, and they had mentioned that some of the feedback that you and I were, or some of the comments that you and I were making on just the original CAD drawing of it, they took to heart. For instance, we talked about, because originally it was only going to be a prone leg curl, and we talked about how much I think, at least I thought, a seated leg curl would be sweet, and how I thought they could do it. And then boom, they're like, oh, by the way, we figured out the seated leg curl. One thing too that I want to call out is, from what I can tell, the retractor is significantly smaller than the current retractor that they have. Like the current retractor that they have is actually fairly big. And whatever they've got going on baked into that post there seems to be significantly smaller than their current retractor. So that's interesting to me too. Like, oh, did they figure out a way to make it smaller? Will there be like a V2 of the retractor after they've kind of sorted through this one, how they're incorporating this one? But yeah, I am very interested in this guy. Obviously price is going to be, it's an unknown at this point, I think, even for them. But from what I'm seeing here, it's got tons of potential. I want to see those leg rollers get a little bit beefier. And I'm thinking that, I know that I even shared that with them. I'm sure others have too. But this looks great. I mean, it looks so good that like my current bench is not compatible with it. I would contemplate like changing out benches to bring this into the gym, because this solves a problem for me. Leg curl, leg extensions, I can't really do it well in my space. I don't have space for a machine. Even if it's just a plate loaded machine, I don't have the space right now. So this has my full and undivided attention.
Yeah.
They better have this at HomeGymCon.
Here's two things that I think are interesting about this. And but yeah, here's two things. So one is, I think it's interesting how there's a lot of companies building off of popular products from like Rogue or Rep and being very successful, like the Rep-Ins, potentially this. I mean, it just shows you how many of these are already out there and people are willing to add on to them or just like make them better. So I think that's one, and something to keep an eye out in the future. Two, I have heard rumblings of more of these coming out to market. So I'm curious and I guarantee you they all saw this. I'm wondering if they're like, oh crap, that's better than ours, or we have to do something. Like I just wonder what the reaction to this is.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the retractor is not that it stops some companies, but the retractor is patented from what I remember. The retractor, in my opinion, is the real game changer here, versus trying to attach another cable and route it to whatever attachment another company might come out with. And I was skeptical about the retractor until I saw it and used it at last year's HomeGymCon. And it's great. It's fantastic. And Joey,
can you explain what the retractor is?
I've only been awake for an hour. So the retractor is, let's see. It is basically a cable, a cable. Man, I don't know if I can do it. Let's see.
That's all right.
You take a shot at it. No, it's okay.
Normally,
That's why I'm on podcast. I should be good at talking.
It allows you to
exactly
change the length of it so that, man, should we just like look up retractor?
We should, so that we can copy from their marketing materials.
Definition of retractor.
It basically allows you to set any length of cable and lock it into position.
A device for retracting something.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so an example that they give though is like a seat belt, where you can like pull it out as much as you need to, put it in, and then it tightens. So like if you really need to, like let's say you have a big belly to get around, you can put that seatbelt in, lock it in, and then it tightens. And that's what it does. So like you said earlier, like there's no extra pulley wiggle. And then if you're like doing different movements, you know, it requires a different amount of the pulley versus a different movement. So moving back and forth is easier, or adjusting the weight or whatever, in case of like the pulley system that they already have. So
let's see. So from their website, our patent pending cable retractor is the heart of our cable systems. It keeps your cable tensioned, makes height adjustments easy, and extends the cable to other accessories with the flip of a switch. I feel like that's not even saying enough. Maybe they had as much difficulty keeping it simple and explaining it. For me, it really was something I had to see to completely understand. And I think that we've really just scratched the surface with how people can leverage that retractor. I think Darko has done a fantastic job. If you've seen the way that he's incorporated a retractor to the top of his weight stacks, so that he basically has a functional trainer system baked into his rack using the retractor. It's really creative. And I think the same thing will happen with the leg extension leg curl. People will come up with like really interesting ways to use it and to set it up. Like a fishing lure, maybe. Let's see. I think the other one is good too, if you're going to share it, from Lift. I'm pretty sure that's Dr. Taddy Waffles, but
yeah.
Lift Salty. Let's see. I'm thinking they've added a pulley. Let's see.
I did want to pull this one up for later. I do think it would work with like a Voltra as well, really well.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Goodness gracious, the street sweeper is going hard outside today. Hopefully that's not coming through too much. Let's mute myself. Oh, or a tape measure. Yeah, it's like a tape measure. If the guys are watching right now, they're like,
Yeah,
no.
they're gonna watch it later.
Yeah, they'll watch
Dummies.
it later. Sorry, I just stole your shared comment.
I know, I saw that. Yeah, it kind of just shows how. Well, I saw like Matt Pendergraph put NASA astronauts developing gym equipment, and
It's
that's kind of
true.
what it. I did hang out with these guys in Vegas at the HFA
Oh,
show.
that's right. Did they have a booth or were they just wandering like you?
They were just wandering.
Okay,
Got some drinks with them. Really
nice.
cool guys.
Yes.
They wouldn't spill anything though, so I tried to see if they had anything else that was really cool coming to market. Made it sound like yes, but then they didn't spill any beans. Not that I would
Okay.
share here, but just so you know, I think they are 100% focused on building out their products.
Yeah.
So should be a very interesting company to watch going forward.
Yeah. I think just the level of excitement, at least coming from me, and the length at which we're talking about this, should emphasize how cool this is, how excited the community should be for it, and just Dialed Motion in general. They've got really great products, high quality stuff, and a great team of people. So I'm really, really excited to see them continue to innovate in the space because we need it. And they're doing cool stuff. This one looks really cool.
Yeah.
We've got a hard deadline for today's
Yeah.
show, folks. Just sharing with you guys that we're trying to be out of here right before the hour. So we should.
Yeah, let's hold off on that last section.
Oh, you gonna hold off on that? You wanna
Yeah, let's just hold
sit
off
and
on
marinate
it.
on this one?
Yeah, marinate on this. And then also, here, let me also, not to make Titan the example, but oh, why did that not share? Or did it share? Okay, here it comes. Titan's prices definitely rose. So you can see, like, for example, their functional trainer is now $2749.99. They put it on sale. But I think Titan's the first company that I've noticed. It seems like they've raised their prices on a lot of their equipment. For example, the Squat Max MD is now $1649.99.
What was it before? $14.99?
I think $14.99. Yeah. Maybe not all of these products, but they're definitely up somewhat. I also noticed, like, the Mammoth Belt Squat, that price, it's on sale for like 30-40% or whatever, but the listing price is $449 now.
Yeah, it's happening. I think Fringe and Peter Keller actually just released a video again talking about their price increases, being as transparent as you can be about what's about to happen or what is happening.
Yeah. Like, I don't think these twist lock collars were $74.99.
Yeah. I think the bummer about all of it is that even, looking into the future and assuming all this tariff stuff will settle down and countries will figure it out, I just don't see the prices going down, right? Like, even if their costs go down, their retail prices likely aren't going to come down. I mean, we saw it during COVID too, when prices shot up. They never really came back down, at least on gym equipment. Maybe on some commodity stuff like lumber, they came down a little bit, but they're not as low as they were pre-2020.
Yeah, I think they're here to stay.
Yeah.
There was somebody that sent me, they're like, oh, Rogue's prices are up 30% overnight, and they sent me the website, and it was in Canadian dollars. No, nope. All right, let's see what else. All right, let's see. What's Rory saying? It's perfect for integrating cables into lever arms since the lever arms need to move up and down. That's a good point. That would work really well with the retractor. I wonder if there's something in the works with the company that there's a clear collab coming with.
Yeah.
Because that does seem like it would make sense. Dialed Motion still hasn't released their leg holder or foot plate they showed at HGC last year. I didn't see what that was. Do you know what that is?
I think I used it, but I don't think I was hyper focused on it.
Got it.
I have an idea. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it up because it's probably not on their website. What's up, Jared?
When is their lap pull down seat / low row gonna drop? Yes, what Joey said. Oh, gotcha. Oh, I don't know. Is that the same thing? We're all talking about that. I don't know what they are.
I don't know what they are either.
If anyone has a
sure.
link or a picture.
I probably have a video of myself using it somewhere, or there's one out there of me using it, but I can't remember exactly. I think for me, the big star of the show was the cable retractor.
For sure.
Yeah, and just the overall level of like polish and quality that was in their products. Super nice. Let's see, what other comments do we have in here for doing lap pull downs and low rows? Yeah, I know what you mean, but I just can't envision like the piece that allowed these movements that y'all are asking about.
I don't
It's early for me. For you, I don't know what your excuse is, but
I didn't really check out their booth. The only experience I have is at Kyle's.
okay. He's got pretty much a full setup of theirs, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has it on like a single post. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Come on, let me share. I'm trying to share a comment, but we're getting that error where it doesn't let me share a comment.
Let me go back. Which one?
From Lyft, the latest one. Push and Pull Fitness has another similar retraction system to keep an eye on. Do they? Let's check it out.
I'm already on it. So I have been monitoring these guys, and this stuff is insane.
Is this the company that's got those crazy lever arms?
Yeah, that's what these are.
Oh, you're watching. Sorry, I didn't realize. I'm watching a different screen. Yeah, this is very interesting.
Like this one.
Yeah, I didn't realize they had a retractor system built in there. But
So they really wanted to come into HomeGymCon, but I don't think they're going to be able to, just because they're so new.
they're not.
and
They're
obviously,
not out of the States, are they? Are they a
Right, they're
Canadian
not.
company or something? I can't
What the
remember. where
heck?
they're
I didn't
from.
see this. That's pretty cool. That is super cool.
Huh.
These guys have it going on.
Yeah, those lever arms do look really sweet.
They do look sweet. And the fact that they connect to the stack.
Oh yeah, that's like a retractor. It's in the front. It looks like of the arms.
Are we crazy for liking these guys, or is this not just insane?
It looks really sweet. I will say that it looks very involved. I mean, it's a couple of big pieces. Those big arms to add to your rack.
They would basically have to be. You would have to basically have a rack for that.
A dedicated rack.
Yeah, but I do think it makes sense with all the things they're doing.
Yeah, people are gonna love it.
I never saw this. This is
the squat. What would we
look
call
at
this
that.
thing?
Now you can also put it at the front for a pendulum squat.
Yeah.
Dude. That's super cool. Man. That might be it. Might be good.
Jared, you all talk about the WIO black and red plates yet? Do you know what he's talking about?
WIO?
You guys
No.
are throwing some curveballs at us today.
WIO.
I actually thought about that before this episode. I thought, what have I been looking at? Like, what have, is there anything that I want to talk about? I feel like I've been really disconnected maybe this last week on new products and teasers.
I also saw Bulletproof Fitness in their Facebook page. They are working on like the triple plate option for like the isolator. So like remember, Kyle's
Yeah.
not quite that, but like 3 plate, kind of like the Prime option.
Is it a triple plate? I thought they were doing a double plate to skirt around Prime's patent.
The picture is a triple. Maybe that's why they haven't posted it. I'm sure there's some sort of workaround there, but on the Bulletproof Fitness page, I'm not sure if you remember, but they're working on some stuff too that is not making the Instagram.
Bulletproof?
Mm-hmm.
I used to be in a Discord server where Larry was sharing some cool stuff, but I think I got booted because I was not active in there at all. But it's probably similar to the Facebook, or maybe Larry just pivoted to the Facebook group.
Oh,
like maybe
he's
I
referring
should join.
to
Weighted
the
out
weighted
plates.
out plates.
I did not see those.
I thought I saw Kurt with some.
Okay.
Huge shout out to Wait It Out though, because they are a huge supporter of the competitions at HomeGymCon.
Mm-hmm.
And they have pretty ideal plates for like strongman competition. So yeah, these are pretty cool. I'm not sure if that's what he's referring to.
That's probably what he's talking about. Yeah, they look great.
Yeah, and he's got like all these colors now. I did get some of these Havoc hooks.
You did?
Yes, I did.
How are they?
I actually really like them.
Do you do a lot of band work?
No, I haven't used them with bands. I've used them as just like traditional weights. And they throw it off. So I'm like, that's not really my expertise in like explaining stuff like that. So I try not to like do reviews on products like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you I like them. I like them.
So you're saying that you use them like we're seeing in the picture where you just slide them over the barbell sleeve and just that the
correct.
weight
and they
is
like wiggle
like that?
It's offset. They wiggle a little bit.
Like an earthquake bar type of thing.
So you have to control it better.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did get some of those. I've always wanted to try Havoc stuff. So that was my easing into it. But yeah, I mean, look at all those plates. Look at those weighted out plates. So that's what we're having for our grip competition too, weighted out plates.
Right.
And for the strongman.
Oh, he's doing the strongman and the grip.
Correct. And maybe more that I'm not aware of. He's been extremely helpful when it comes to that.
Cool. Well, we should look to bring this in for a landing because I know you've got another meeting. Speaking of your next meeting, last I heard, I know that Jocko is looking to be our one, what do we call it? Like the supplement vendor that's going to be there. Is that right?
Yep. So they're the official nutrition partner. Something like that.
Are they going to have food? Are they going to have like bars and all types? Are they going to keep us fed? So
we will have food this year. I mean, it's
Oh.
more like concession food.
Okay.
But there will be food around this year.
Okay.
Still trying to figure out if it's going to be in the expo. Just depends how much more we can sell of the space or in the lobby. So there should be like sandwich options and pizza or
Perfect.
something like that. Like nothing crazy, but there will be food that you can buy that you don't have to like walk around the block to get.
Okay. Nice.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
Jocko, the Jocko Fuel, they'll be doing kind of what First Form did last year, just with energy drinks and whatever.
Is Jocko going to be there?
I don't know. I haven't gotten the sense, or I haven't gotten a confirmation yet.
That would be cool. Let
That'd
us
be
know in the
super cool.
comments if you guys want to meet Jocko. Maybe you can leverage the hype and excitement to try and get him to come out. Maybe he can like hold a 4 a.m. workout session.
Yes, seriously.
And see how many guys crawl out of their hotel rooms for a 4
Yeah.
a.m.
Yes.
workout in Louisville.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, they have good clean supplements. I've actually been using their stuff the last few months since they decided to become a HomeGymCon supporter.
Did they send you a gift box?
No gift box.
Out of your own pocket, you went and bought some Jocko products, huh?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I did. Well, so I was like pretty much First Form for the last year too. So whoever is our nutrition partner, I try and support.
Are you wait? Okay, so you didn't just have like go home with the excess First Form stuff, and that's like kept you equipped for the last year?
No. So funny story. They did give me it was like the deadlift party, and someone did come up and give me like a huge box, and I put it down where I was sitting, and I had to run off and do something, and I came back and it was gone. So someone took home
thieves out
a
there.
huge First Form order. that could have been mine. It was just protein bars, I think, but
Yeah,
that
well,
would've
in
been
year
great.
one, First Form sent me home with like a box or two of their protein bars, and those didn't last very long at all. They're so good. I ate
If
them.
they're in the house, I eat like 2 of them a day.
Yeah.
And that's even hard to stop at 2.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well,
All right.
should we wrap it so that you're not jumping into your meeting?
Yeah, let's
late?
wrap it, and we'll do this
right.
again next Tuesday.
We'll do it again next week. Thanks for being here, everybody. Appreciate all the comments. See you guys next week.
See you guys next Tuesday.
All right. That felt
All right.